Somewhere behind heavily guarded doors, governments are storing thousands of tons of gold. But which country owns the most? Where is that gold actually kept? And why does it still matter in a world where money can move across the planet in seconds? The answer begins with an important distinction. The country storing the gold is not always the country that owns it. When people ask who owns the most gold, they may be talking about completely different things. A mining company may control gold underground. A household may own jewelry and coins. An investment fund may hold bullion on behalf of thousands of investors. A commercial bank may store gold for customers. But those categories cannot be added together and ranked fairly. For this video, we are comparing official monetary gold, bullion controlled by central banks, treasuries, and monetary authorities as part of a country's financial reserves. That excludes gold still buried underground, annual mine production, privately owned jewelry, and most commercial inventories. The latest World Gold Council table records approximately 36,558 tons of official gold worldwide. The figures are compiled largely from IMF reports, but the data may be 2 months or more behind because each authority reports on its own schedule. Some governments do not disclose their holdings at all. Here is the first surprise. The largest gold-producing country is not automatically the largest official holder. Gold that is mined may be exported, refined abroad, purchased by jewelry manufacturers, or owned by private investors. And reported ownership does not tell us exactly where the bars are located. A central bank may own gold stored in London or New York because those cities provide security and access to major trading markets. The New York Federal Reserve and Bank of England both provide custody for foreign monetary authorities. So who sits at the top of the verified ranking? At number 10 is Poland, with approximately 614 tons after adding 64 tons during the first 5 months of 2026. That recent buying pushed Poland narrowly ahead of the Netherlands. Number 9 is Japan, with about 846 tons. Number 8 is India, with approximately 880.5 tons. Number 7 is Switzerland, with about 1,039.9 tons, a large holding for a country with a relatively small population. The totals then rise sharply. At number 6, Russia held approximately 2,292 tons after reported net sales during the first 5 months of 2026. At number 5, China held roughly 2,331 tons, representing about 9% of its total reserves. China reported its 20th consecutive month of net purchases in May 2026. Number 4 is France, with approximately 2,437 tons. Number 3 is Italy, with roughly 2,451.8 tons. Gold represented about 80% of both countries' reported reserves in the June ranking. Italy's central bank says gold helps reinforce confidence in the financial system and the common European currency. Number 2 is Germany, with about 3,350.3 tons. Germany stores its gold in Frankfurt, New York, and London, reflecting both domestic security considerations and access to major international gold markets. And number 1 is not even close. The United States reports 8,133.5 tons, more than twice Germany's total. Together, these 10 countries hold roughly 2/3 of all officially reported monetary gold. The United States gold stock is a legacy of an earlier monetary system. During the gold standard era, currencies were linked directly or indirectly to gold. Later, under the Bretton Woods system, foreign governments could exchange US dollars for gold at an official rate. As the United States became the center of the post-war financial system, it accumulated an enormous stockpile. Although direct dollar convertibility ended in 1971, the gold remained on the government's balance sheet. The total is approximately 261.5 million fine troy ounces, equivalent to about 653,000 nominal 400-ounce bullion bars. At the LBMA afternoon benchmark price of $4,067.30 per ounce on July 24, 2026, that gold would have had a market value of approximately $1.06 trillion. But here is the surprising part. The U.S. Treasury records it at a statutory book value of only $42.22 per ounce. The most famous storage location is Fort Knox, which holds approximately 147.3 million ounces, about half the Treasury stockpile. Large quantities are also held at West Point and Denver, with smaller amounts held as working stock and in the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's vault. But ownership and custody must not be confused. Most gold inside the New York Fed's vault does not belong to the Federal Reserve. The bank acts as custodian for the U.S. government, foreign governments, central banks, and international organizations. Countries store gold there because bars can remain secure while being conveniently located near a major financial market. Modern currencies are no longer generally backed by gold, so why are central banks adding more? One reason is diversification. Foreign reserves may include government bonds, bank deposits, currencies, special drawing rights, and gold. Holding several types of assets reduces dependence on a single government, market, or currency. Gold also carries no direct credit risk. A gold bar is not another country's promise to repay a debt. The IMF notes that gold may provide protection against sanctions and can diversify long-duration reserve portfolios. But it also warns that gold is volatile and that its safe haven behavior depends on the type of economic shock occurring. Central banks purchased an estimated 863 tons in 2025. That was below the exceptional 1,000-ton-plus totals recorded during the previous 3 years, but still substantially above the 2010 to 2021 annual average. The 2026 Central Bank survey found that 89% of respondents expected global official gold holdings to increase during the following year, while a record 45% expected their own institution to add gold. Reserve managers identified crisis performance, diversification, inflation protection, and geopolitical risk management as important reasons. However, central banks are not buying simply because they believe every currency is about to collapse. The IMF found that much of the recent increase in gold's share of central bank reserves came from rising prices rather than enormous increases in physical tonnage. Between 2018 and 2025, the market value of central bank gold increased by about 268%, while physical volume increased by only about 8.5%. Gold also produces no interest, incurs security costs, and can fall sharply in value. It is strategic insurance, not free money. National rankings tell only part of the story. The International Monetary Fund holds approximately 2,814.1 tons at designated depositories. If it were treated as a country, it would sit between Germany and Italy. But the IMF is an international institution representing its member states. Gold-backed investment funds form another enormous pool. At the end of June 2026, physically backed gold ETFs and similar products collectively held approximately 4,047 tons. That is more gold than Germany's National Reserve, but it is not controlled by a single government or individual. It backs investment products owned by many different investors. Then there is privately owned gold. Households in countries with strong jewelry and bullion traditions may collectively hold very large quantities. But these estimates rely on consumer surveys, import records, and assumptions about recycling. They cannot be compared directly with officially reported central bank reserves. The same problem applies to claims about royal families, billionaires, and private organizations. Unless the holdings appear in audited accounts or public filings, precise rankings are speculative. So the largest verified national holder remains the United States. But the biggest official holder is not necessarily the largest gold producer, the biggest jewelry market, the wealthiest country, or the nation with the greatest amount of gold underground. The world's largest gold reserves are more than piles of metal. They are historical records from the age of gold-backed money, insurance against financial disruption, and strategic assets reserved for a future no government can predict with certainty. How much gold would you hold if you were responsible for protecting an entire country's reserves? If you were responsible for a country's financial reserves, how much would you keep in gold? And how much would you hold in currencies, bonds, or other assets? Share your answer in the comments, and subscribe to All Things Gold for more stories about the metal that continues to shape money, power, and history. This video is for education and entertainment and is not personalized financial advice.